Welcome to Mindflow Radio.
Mindflow Radio. We're your hosts, Lynn and Lamont McPheron.
We are all in this
together. Chakra Bugate Suyamba Subang Sarabada Saraba Jugate Dukalang Pernasi Dayalang Sarupe Sada Anga Sangay Abangang Bebute Chattr Chakravarti Chattr Chakra Bugate Suyamba Subang Sarabada Saraba Jugate Dukalang Pernasi Dayalang Sarupe Sada Anga Sangay Abangang Chakravarti Chattr Chakra Bugate Suyamba Subang Sarabada Saraba Jugate Dukalang Pernasi Dayalang Sarupe Sada Anga Sangay Abangang Bebute Chattr Chakravarti Chattr Chakra Bugate Suyamba Subang Sarabada Saraba Jugate Dukalang Pernasi Dayalang Sarupe Saranga Sangay Abangang Bebute. Here we are.
Mindflow Radio.
Mindflow Radio. How's it going out there?
Mm-hmm.
Hope y'all are feeling all the good lessons I'm feeling.
What does that mean? What kind of lessons you talking about?
Well, for me, it means accepting things as they come.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's Lynn, by the way.
Yeah, and he's Monte.
Yeah.
He's the reasonable, mindful one here.
You can be very reasonable. We both have our moments.
Yeah, we have our moments
of human craziness.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just share. We recorded the podcast yesterday, and I deleted it by mistake. And he was just so chill.
Well, shit happens. That's the way I see it.
And I had to go outside and cry because I was so upset that I did it.
Yeah.
So
meant to be.
Yeah.
I think.
I guess we have our strengths. So
yeah.
Mine is not very strong when I delete something that I didn't want to delete.
Well, if that's the worst mistake you make, you're in good shape.
I sure hope so. I hope that's the worst mistake I make.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we wanted to talk about what it's like to rise above the busy mind. Yeah.
Well, I guess to start with on that subject, we want to know that the mind has two modes of operation.
Okay.
The waking mind has two modes of operation, and one of those modes is analysis, like we analyze things, we think about things, and the other mode is just awareness, stillness, kind of like a place beyond that internal dialogue, beyond the chattering mind. So you could look at that place of awareness as a transcendental, I would argue a transcendental state.
Yeah.
You know, if you can have a bunch of those like moments of awareness together, you know, moment, and then you're talking about like a peak experience. You know, like just an experience that is like earth-shatteringly cool and or bad. You know, depending on why you're so present, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And so yeah, well, I guess we're shooting for the transcendental experience that's good, you know, just
the one that we choose to have versus the one that might be chosen for us.
Well, and yeah, I mean, it's finding balance between that awareness mind state and the analysis mind state is key. Mm-hmm. Like you want to think about something and then take a little break, you know, and breathe or whatever method you use to just like connect to the present without the chattering mind, you know. And it makes me think of Einstein and what he would do. You know, his analytical mind was just phenomenal. You know, he would pace around the room, you know, just going over theories in his head, like these complex theories. And it's sort of interesting because for him to like a theory, he would call that beautiful.
Yeah.
And if he didn't like a theory, he would say, oh, that's an ugly theory. So he was looking at it from like an aesthetic point of view. But then what he did is he played the violin. He was a great violinist, I guess. And that was his way of turning off the analytical mind. Because whoever it is, if we're out of balance, if the analytical mind is just on, and just on and on, compulsive overthinking, the mind gets agitated and we don't even see things clearly at that moment because our minds are not designed to be like computation machines, you know?
Why not?
Yeah, right. Even though we try and push them like that, you know?
Especially in this culture.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, and all the information and misinformation we ingest through the media and social media and yada, yada, yada. It's just like, it clutters the mind. I mean, our minds just want to think. We think we can think our way out of everything, and that's such a huge mistake because the solution comes out of the transcendental state.
Yeah.
You know, you're transcendental
or the
and
calm.
Then, you're calm and then boom, the answer just appears.
Yeah. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that the three things that we need to renounce is lust, anger, and greed. And I think the busy mind is a machine of that sort, where it's either lustful, dealing with anger, or greed, wanting what you don't have.
And I would suggest this, just being moderate with those feelings.
Well, I want to say why I said that. Because you're talking about the solution. And I think in our culture, we've been trained that we should get angry so that we can make a change.
Yeah.
And I would argue that, or I would debate that, it is very important to acknowledge when you're angry and to deal with it, and to move with the anger, or move the anger through you without repressing it. But that's not usually where the good solutions come from. And that's actually where difficult, what's the word? Like, the end result ends up being something that you may regret or wish you would have thought it through. And the thinking it through is the mindful awareness, the pausing, the sensing the moment.
Well, sometimes you can't pause, though. I mean,
well, there's a quick reaction.
There's moments
impulse.
when anger is very appropriate, and when lust is appropriate.
Are you sure? Are you sure that any of that's appropriate?
Sure, man. I mean, it's desire. I mean, it's, and it's just, the problem is when we start obsessing about it. Like if I'm angry at somebody, and then I start thinking about the reason I'm angry at this person over and over and over, and if my mind becomes obsessive, the same is true of lust. I mean, lust is fine in moderation, in the right place and time.
Lust or passion? Like, I think they're not the same.
Oh, well, I don't know then.
Lust is like wanting what isn't yours. I mean, it's so close to greed that I don't really. I mean, lust is more sensual, sexual, and greed is more material. Is what I get out of it. But
I think all of us have all those feelings.
Well, they're
but it's
kind
just
of a trick of humanity. Like, you can't be soulful all the time. We're in these physical bodies, and it comes with this range of emotions that we have to learn how to train. And you say that sometimes it's appropriate to act out of anger.
Yeah, certainly.
I do wonder, though, if it's not more appropriate to pause and reflect before reacting.
Well, sometimes there's no time to pause.
Sure, you're talking about like an actual crisis going on.
Yeah.
And you're being attacked or something.
Yeah, something like that.
But does that really come out of anger, or is that just like defense? Like, don't you think that if you go at it as calmly as possible and roll with the punches and get out of the way,
I agree.
that you're actually probably going to get out of the situation better?
Yeah, the best fighters are not angry. They're just well-trained and great athletes. And that's true. But that being said, there might be moments for the regular person when anger is, I don't know, helpful. Appropriate,
Okay.
But who am I to say? I mean, it's just like, it's going to happen. The idea is just let it be, let it happen, and then find your center again. Don't get swept away by the anger.
Right.
Don't get swept away by the lust and the greed, perhaps, It's the thing when the mind obsesses on it and then you get stuck in it, that's when it has a potential of really ruining your life.
There's actually, I was listening to the Book of Joy. I just finished it. Yay! I finished it. And the Dalai Lama was sharing a Buddhist practice for envy. And it's basically when you are feeling envious that you wish the person well, you appreciate their happiness and whatever it is that you were wishing you had that they have. And the idea of being really happy for them because you don't need to help them because they already have what you wish you had. And I thought that was really interesting to look at envy and greed in that way of like, oh, okay, that's a nice way to shift the energy, is to be like, oh, well, I don't have to help that person because they have everything they need. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, so back to the busy mind. I feel like in this day and age, we're all seeking solutions. How do I be a part of the solution? How do I make a change? How is this going to end up? What do I do next? You know, I know for myself that I do know what I'm doing next, kind of, and I'm working really hard towards it. Mm-hmm. And I take time every day to do my meditations. Yeah. But it is really challenging to get that mind to be quiet during the day. You know, during my meditation, sure, you know, I've got my 1 hour of peace in the morning, and then there it goes. You know, and
what about working on your breath during the day? Does that give you...
Yeah, I'm just really grateful I have clients to work with, and that clients like to work with me, because that helps me so much. Yeah. Practice what you preach, right? Well,
even when you're in like a grocery store, can you work on your breathing?
I'm not good at it, no.
Okay.
You are.
I'm pretty good at that.
You're really good at that. I'm getting better at when I'm walking up to a client's house or something like that. I'll be doing some mindful walking. I've gotten better at that. But actually in a store, I generally end up getting triggered with a mask on. And
oh, yeah. It's trickier nowadays.
It is.
The vibe.
I did have a good experience at the U.S. Cellular store, and was standing in this long line. And the radio was so loud and the air conditioner was so loud. So I just started chanting out loud. And I had a mask on and nobody could hear me. And it was great.
What was your chant?
Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat.
And what's that mean?
Om is the infinite, Tat is the offering, and Sat is what is. So you're offering what is to the infinite. Om Tat Sat, Om Tat Sat. So it's
acceptance.
Yeah, it's acceptance. It's surrender. It's offering. You're offering your joy. You're offering your sadness. You're offering your meal. You're offering your walk. You're offering your gratitude, whatever. Mm-hmm. If we can get to that place where we transcend the busy mind for real, and we transcend all kinds of desires, we can have the emotions, but they don't really make us go on the roller coaster anymore. When we can transcend the roller coaster and just watch it all go by, the joy is pleasant, and the sadness is okay. Yep, there's the sadness, and you know,
to be that mindful observer of your experience.
Yeah, I mean that's a for real. Wow.
And I should mention that to mindfully see your experience, you kind of step back from it and you just observe it. But you know that experience isn't you, too. Just like you observe a thought, you know that thought isn't you. It's something your mind has created, but you're observing it.
Yeah.
Without judging it. Mm-hmm. Just noticing the neutral kind of perspective.
Yeah. And it really makes a big difference. It really does. And the breath is it's such a magical tool. It's voluntary and involuntary.
One thing I've been working on is just really expanding my ribs underneath my armpits as I'm breathing in. And then it's like you think of your lungs as like two balloons, and you put energy into like blowing up the balloons, and you feel your ribs expand. And then with the exhalation, you just let the lungs exhale on their own, but the effort is to slow the exhalation down and lengthen it. Mm-hmm. It's like the balloon, you know, if you just let it go, all the air comes out really fast. You want to just slow the air coming out. So breathing in and the ribs expand underneath the armpits. And then just letting it go. Letting it go.
Letting it go slowly with control.
Yeah. Not cutting it off short, which is what we do when we're stressed. We don't exhale fully. We don't inhale fully either, but...
Yeah, I noticed yesterday when I was all stressed out and I was sitting out on the porch by myself and I was like, whoa, how long did I just hold my breath in?
Okay.
I think that happens to a lot of people. It's like you try to breathe, and that's kind of what happens with panic attacks. You inhale, 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 inhale. I can't inhale anymore. Oh no, I can't inhale anymore.
Yeah, right.
What do I do? I can't inhale anymore. and the idea of exhaling is just it's I don't understand it actually, why it's like the mind just doesn't even think about exhaling.
I know. And that's the big mistake people make when they try and deepen their breath. Like you said, they just keep trying to pound this inhalation. Mm-hmm. But the reality is if your lungs are full or half full of air, you need to exhale all the way before you can inhale properly.
Yeah. It's so true.
It's like a basketball player at the free throw line. You know, he dribbles the ball a few times, then he's like, big exhalation, then he shoots. Mm-hmm. You do the same thing with shooting a gun. Mm-hmm. You're exhaling real slow. Bang.
Yeah.
You know, so it's the exhale is key.
Exhale is key.
But I like expanding those ribs as we inhale.
And I was working with that today, and I'm amazed that you brought that up because I was listening to some astrology, and they're Molly McCord, for anyone out there who wants to check her out. And she's talking about how we're going through an open heart surgery. And I was just like, oh my God, that's exactly how I feel. Just like I'm crying, I'm laughing. Like, what is happening to me?
It's quite the adventure over here. Never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment. Yeah, so I decided to really just focus on the heart and focus on that full inhale, full exhale. And what I was seeing and thinking about is how a lot of people who've experienced trauma, and really we're all experiencing trauma with this COVID-19 thing and just the fear bit of it all. And we have to get control of it. It is our personal responsibilities to get control of our own fear in this moment. Because if you are safe out there, it's good to remind yourself that you're safe in this moment, so that you can let your nervous system rest for a minute. Because this is an intense time, and for a lot of us, the rib cage is where it goes. The bottom back of the rib cage is where your adrenals and your kidneys are. Your adrenals is where your adrenaline comes from. And the diaphragm gets constricted when the nervous system gets triggered, so that you can't actually breathe that deeply, which is why panic attack is when you can't breathe because you're inhaling and you can't exhale, and you don't think about exhaling because the body wants to run. So the bottom of the rib cage is affected by the adrenals getting triggered over and over from the fear we're being fed all day, every day. And then the top of the rib cage is where the shoulder girdle is, and that's the collarbone or the clavicles, and the scapula or the shoulder blades, and the humerus, the upper arm. And they all come together in the joint, and every bone is surrounded by nerves, and the nerves are told if it's safe to be relaxed, if it's safe to let down your guard. And for most of us, we are not letting down our guard, and we are not feeling safe. So all of this fear and trauma is being stored in our bones. So if you notice a lot of tightness at night, if you notice a lot of tightness in the day, if your bones are hurting, there's a really good chance that you need to relax.
So if your mind feels threatened, it affects the nerves around your bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so how do we straighten
that out? And I think that goes back to the heart, right? And so if you inhale and you think about all of the bones, the ribs, the shoulders, and you're just expanding, like Monte was talking about, expanding front, back, sides. Really think about the sides, letting the shoulders widen as you inhale. And then as you exhale, there's no force. You're just exhaling, slowly letting the air out and completely emptying, but not really pressing and not really forcing anything.
Yeah, unless you want to squeeze that belly in at the end.
Yeah.
Of the exhalation, which is another practice.
Yeah, it's another practice, but when you're just trying to work with softening the tension in the bones of the chest, and there's also too much inhale. You can too much exhale, too much inhale. So for anyone who's got any neck pain or shoulder pain, you're inhaling right before you feel your neck and shoulders tense up. And then you exhale until right before you feel your stomach tense up. And in that way, you're really just kind of bringing some TLC, like, what does this feel like?
Some kind of like moderate, full breathing.
Yeah. Yeah, because you want to just bring soft, loving, self-love,
Well, and you want your ribs to stay flexible too.
Yeah.
And if you never like expand them, they just get stuck.
It's true. Yeah, and your lungs, we need to expand to be fully functional. I mean, it's the same with anything that's in our body.
Well, yeah, and the cool thing about that is you can practice that anywhere. Wherever you are, you can practice expanding your ribs.
I know, right?
See, that's what I'm saying. Like at a store, waiting in line, I'm practicing, perhaps expanding my ribs and standing optimally and mindfully observing the process, and mindfully observing the scene around me, and just like.
Yeah, I've got to get better at that. I feel like somehow the mask triggers something in me really deep.
The mask is hell.
I put it on and I get scared.
Okay.
And it's a really interesting experience. And
yeah,
I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do for the people around me. But for me, it just triggers me and I start going into anxiety. And it's hard for me to walk the walk, walk the talk when I've got the mask on. And I'm working on it.
Well, it's a big challenge for you then. It's kind of like running with leg weights on.
Yeah.
It's good training, perhaps.
It is good training.
Because then when these effing masks are like no longer chic, no longer, common.
Maybe if I got a really cool one that I liked, maybe when maybe it had the flower of life on it or something.
Okay. I was thinking about a cat face.
A cat face. Okay, well let's
I want to get a sheep face. I've talked about that before.
Yeah.
The ultimate mask.
The ultimate mask. The ultimate mask for me would be one that I'd want to wear at a party like years from now. That I'd feel like it was cool. So that's why I've seen all these like sacred geometry masks and I'm like, maybe I should look into that because someday it'll go well with my costume. So for the busy mind, if you can take some time to breathe and transcend the busy mind, when you feel yourself fully engaged in anger or envy, just take a time out.
Yeah.
Take a time out. This is a new world we're birthing, and maybe anger has been a good place for people to act from and at some point, somewhere in history, maybe. But I've seen a lot of bad that's come out of anger reactions.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of strength to not act out of anger. And it's okay to get angry, but I think just giving yourself the opportunity, if your life is not being threatened at the moment, just pause. Just take a time out. Just take a deep breath and really think about the world you want to bring into existence.
That's it.
And if it is a joyful, pleasant, peaceful world, then you need to have a joyful, pleasant, peaceful attitude to bring that into existence.
Well, let's be strong and have clarity and make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Essentially, and
take time out, because I mean that's seriously been my way forward, because my to-do list is just overwhelming, and it's like, okay, I can't do anything on this list right now. I'm too stressed out. I gotta go sit on the back porch and look at the leaves.
Yeah, and I mean, we should mention, if we're trying to be moderate with anger and all that stuff, we should also be moderate with our screen time.
Oh, yeah.
Because just looking at screens too much just creates agitation in itself. And it's really easy for the agitated mind to just swing into anger, Mm-hmm. And in our culture, it's just like, anger, it's like seen as like this really positive thing. And it's really there are more effective mind states we can evoke if we really want to create change.
Yeah, and I know it's not
anger
PC,
kind of keeps us stuck, because when I'm angry, I'm fighting against somebody, and you know what? They're going to fight against me. And then, you know what? Then there's a big fight.
Yeah.
And you got like half the population fighting the other half, and it's like this mess.
Yeah.
But if we could be like, hey, let's create a better world. Hey, okay, how are we going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's start
Look
here.
for the solutions.
Yeah.
But also don't overthink it, because I think that really the solutions do come in the quiet. And, and the inspirations come, and the impulse to call somebody you haven't talked to comes in the quiet.
Yeah.
So it's really, if you haven't tried it, give it a try. If you have tried it, you probably know what we're talking about. And
find moments of
it's generally
peace.
magical.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow. I'm so glad I took 5 minutes to just chill out, because this is pretty cool.
Yeah, especially if you're able to quiet the mind.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's where the breath work comes in. Yeah. Perhaps that works really well for me. And if I'm really expanding my ribs, slowing the exhalation, quiets my mind.
Yeah.
Builds energy, builds prana.
Yeah. So we're going to share another way of quieting the mind or honing the mind. We're going to sing or share another song, and it's actually a meditation, a thank you meditation, so you can join in with us. And do you have any more thoughts or things you want to say?
Well, just as a segue into this song, the idea is we're going to be working on reprogramming our subconscious dialogue. And that's something that probably all of us, to some extent, struggle with, negative self-talk, judgmental thinking. We all have a playlist in our subconscious, and we keep coming back to this playlist throughout the day. And if that playlist has a bunch of negative, unproductive messaging, we're hurting ourselves. So we're going to try and insert thank you into the playlist of our subconscious. And in doing so, you want to try and bump out some of that negative self-talk or judgmental thinking of others, whatever it is. And think of your mind as a garden. And we're going to work on weeding out the unproductive old patterns and implanting or growing some new productive patterns of thought. And thank you is a great one. And that's what this song is about.
Yeah, I just have to say I had the image of hand sanitizer, and thank you is the hand sanitizer. It gets rid of all the germs.
I'm sure it strengthens your immune system too.
It does strengthen your immune system because it elevates your serotonin and all that because you're not as stressed.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
what we
I
need.
just had this image of the thank you because you said to push out all the other thoughts, and I saw the hand sanitizer killing all the germs or the bad thoughts. So I just had to share it. I thought it was funny.
Okay.
All right. So thank you all for being here, and we'll share this next song for you and be back next week. Peace.
All right, we call this the Manifesting Soundscape in 11. Thank you.
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 Repeat this phrase
Thank you.
throughout the day and night.
Thank you.
Reprogram
Thank you.
subconscious dialogue.
Thank you.
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 Don't attach this phrase
Thank you.
to any particular
Thank you.
event.
Thank you.
Say it when you're feeling good.
Thank you.
Say it when you're feeling not so good.
Thank you.
Say it when you're feeling neutral.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At least 100 times a day.
Thank you.
What do you want to manifest?
Thank you.
What do you want to manifest?
Thank you.
Supercharge your manifesting.
Thank you.
Supercharge
Thank you.
your manifesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Use this phrase
Thank you.
when you're feeling triggered.
Thank you.
Ground yourself
Thank you.
in the moment.
Thank you.
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 Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your presence. You've been listening to Mindflow Radio. You can support Mindflow Radio on Patreon and get exclusive content access. Big gratitude to Lotus Head for their mindful music, keeping us in the flow. A shout out to our sponsors, Integrated Mindfulness Institute. Online, visit www.imi.earth. For ideas, questions, or comments, contact us by email, connect@imi.earth. Many blessings on our health and peaceful evolution. We are all in this together.